My name is John Pasfield, and the title of this reading will be John and Lewis Carroll Meeting the Wonderland Characters. So here is my book, John and Lewis Carroll, Wonderfall. A picture there of John in his backyard with a door opening up, and in the darkness some heads are appearing. Here's a summary. As John the writer sits beside his pond, polishing a chapter of his new book, a door opens up in the grass, and the characters from Alice in Wonderland and Alice Through the Looking Glass peer up at him from the darkness. John tumbles down, down, down through a hole in the ground to Wonderland, where the characters are busy rehearsing scenes for a third Alice book. So a third Alice book would be a new book, because there's only 2 Alice books, which they hope John will persuade their author to write. But what if their author, Lewis Carroll, has other ideas? Now, in the first chapter of this book, chapter 1, John's sitting in his backyard polishing a book of his that he's just written. He recalls in that chapter that he has been reading the 2 Alice books recently, Alice in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass, and that he has glanced at a biography of a fellow writer, Lewis Carroll. Suddenly, as John sits in his backyard, something begins to happen. So let's have a look at chapter 2. First, though, I'll just hold this book up. This is the book that John has been reading recently. So this is a 55-year-old book. J for John Pasfield, Kingston, Ontario, Canada, 1970. That's when I first read this book, during the summer of 1970. I reread it a few years ago, and it gave me some ideas for a book of my own. So let's look then at chapter 2 of my book, John and Lewis Carroll. Oops, let me find the first page here. Okay, here it is. So John's in his backyard. A door lying on the grass. Very strange, like nothing I've seen. Brass handle, shiny wood, lying here beside me on the ground. Opening slowly, hinges creaking like a horror film in my yard. An open hole, a mystery pit, a gaping grave, a group of shadowy heads near the surface. Bright eyes peep out as I peep inside. I know exactly who they are. I've been reading the Alice books. You are the characters who dwell in Wonderland. Hello, John. I'm the Mad Hatter. You might not have noticed me while you were reading, as I didn't have a prominent role in the earlier books. However, I've always felt that I acquitted myself as well as the size of the part was able to allow. In fact, I feel I've paid my dues. I have some ideas that I'd love to present, a way to expand, to alter my part, perhaps, but more important, John, to add more depth and breadth to the next Alice book, which I'd like you, to Lewis Carroll, to present in your turn. I have a path to show you, John, a path the existence of which only I would seem to know. Well, I'm Humpty Dumpty, John. Well, what else would I be? But don't be fooled by the look. I've been doing a lot of thinking since the Alice books ended for me. I've discovered something momentous. I'd be honored to show it to you. The Humpty Dumpty saga goes on, John. Perhaps you'll be surprised to hear. Far enough to fill a couple of future Alice books. In fact, I now see my earlier role as just the start. Well, they all look glad to see me. This is something of a surprise. They didn't welcome Alice when she arrived. Oh, Alice the character is in here too. Hard to see, a little dingy. They're in the dark and I'm in the light. There are others whom I know from reading the books. I would expect Lewis Carroll, as I've been reading biographies. I squint my eyes, but he's nowhere to be seen. I'm Tweedledee, John, Tweedledee. Look at the collar, it's plain to see. My brother's not here at the moment. It will give us a chance to talk. This concerns him, of course it concerns him. We're always together, of course, but I have an idea for the next Alice book, John, for Tweedledum and for Tweedledee. That's quite a radical twist, John, what I would call an extreme departure with which my brother might not agree. So I think it's best if you hear this idea exclusively from me. See my name right here in the collar, John? Tweedledee. Suddenly, they drop away and I'm sucked in after them. Down, down, down we plunge as if in a rabbit hole. Are these characters taking me prisoner? Is that why they appeared? Will I spend the rest of my life underground? I didn't find Wonderland very attractive, not the characters or Lewis Carroll. Not my kind of people at all, neither in life nor in the books. I read the Alice novels as I read the biographies from outside. I sense a close kinship between us, John. I'm quite sure I can talk to you. I'm the mock turtle, John, and I have quite a story to tell. It'll be quite a revelation, the heart and soul of the next Alice book. I must teach you how to tell it, John, when our author comes to know it, with you replicating my words and gestures. I am sure he will readily agree. It's not a story of remorse, John. I have never regretted a thing. In fact, I feel not a smidgen of guilt for what I have done. Stand up straight when you listen to me. You're in the presence of royalty. Till our author puts pen to paper, John, I shall remain regretfully a queen. Now, where was I when you interrupted? Oh, yes, of course. I was telling you of my need for a new departure, a whole new role for myself to assume. A drama in which I will play a benevolent me. Such a total transformation, John. I shall seem another person born on the other side of the world. And it won't be acting. It will be living. I shall be, John, completely reborn. The readers will probably not recognize me. They'll see me as anything but the Queen of Hearts. Our author can tell them who I was on the final page. I have no idea where all of this will lead. Where it will not lead, of course, is to something that can be read. There cannot be another book, not another Wonderland book, not according to the laws of, well, what? The laws of the future? The laws of the past? The laws of the past future? The laws of the future past? A new book shall not be written in the past. Whatever controls me, whatever is controlling me, cannot, I believe, I'm sure, control historical reality, or there would be nothing but chaos, I assume. There is no third Alice novel, no Wonderland Part 3, in the future of these characters, of their author, in the present as I know it now. If I know anything, this is what I know. So what should I say to Lewis Carroll, to Mr. Dodson, to Reverend Dodson, or whatever he calls himself in his ragtag band of characters? You had your chance while you were alive, and that is that? How to explain to them the laws of the universe? Is this hole deep, or are we falling very slowly? I seem to have plenty of time to look around. I look down, but it's too dark to see anything at all. I look at the sides, and I'm surprised at what I see. Cupboards, bookshelves, maps, and pictures hung on pegs. A jar labeled orange marmalade. Alice, the character, takes it from the shelf. I'm glad I'm falling above her. If she drops it, she'll be sure to kill someone below. Hello, John. I'm Alice. Alice the character, not Alice the person. I've heard there was a real Alice, though I've never met her. If you could spare a moment or two, I'd like to tell you about something that intrigues me, something that you might not have encountered in your travels before. I'm told you know a lot about books, so I'll be interested in your reaction to my ideas. We thump in a pile at the bottom. No broken bones, no bruises, nor blood. The characters pick themselves up and shake themselves and turn to me. The Queen of Hearts, Humpty Dumpty, Alice the character, the caterpillar, the Mad Hatter, the Mock Turtle, the Gnat, and one of the brothers, Tweedledum or Tweedledee. Some wave, some hold out a hand, all are smiling, all are benign, not ferocious like they are in the Alice books. Every one of them sports a grin from side to side. Surprisingly, they seem glad to have me here. A plethora of new ideas, John, a plethora of new ideas. We Alice characters have an author who is sadly bereft of new ideas. He's taking forever, you see, to write a third Alice book. Our author is resisting the current, John. He has stuck his stick in the mud. He has his finger in the dike, behind which is an abundance of new ideas. Characters always know more than authors, John. They spend their lives inside books. Give our regards to Lewis Carroll. Ask him to listen to what we say. You can help to propel him forward, John. When you tell him our story ideas, John, he'll be inundated, flooded, overwhelmed with new ideas. So I'm going to stop reading chapter 2 there. Chapter 2 continues for a moment. The story of chapter 1. John is sitting in his backyard and polishing a book, but the chapter very quickly changes into something else. Besides John in the grass, there appears a door with a brass handle, which opens up to reveal the characters from the Alice books. There's the Queen of Hearts, Humpty Dumpty, Alice the character, the Caterpillar, the Mad Hatter, the Mock Turtle, the Gnat, and one of the brothers, either Tweedledum or Tweedledee. Each of the characters speaks to John of an idea for a new Alice book, not to be written by John, but by the original author of the 2 existing Alice books, Lewis Carroll. It seems that each of the Alice characters would like to leave the story in which he or she is perpetually living, and to be written into a new story in what would be the 3rd Alice book. John's reactions to such a request are included in chapter 2, but I'll leave John's reaction to a future video reading. So, if we think of agendas, we can ask ourselves a few questions. Number 1, do the characters all share the same general agenda, what I would call a group agenda? Number 2, will it turn out that some of the characters will have specific agendas which would not be shared with the group? Number 3, will Lewis Carroll, their author, share the characters' group agenda? Number 4, if it turns out that there will be separate agendas, even opposed agendas, with which character or characters will Lewis Carroll side? And lastly, will Lewis Carroll have his own agenda? And if he does, is there a possibility that the characters in Lewis Carroll will have a shared agenda? Or, if he has his own agenda, will the group of characters in Lewis Carroll have an opposed agenda? Or, if he has his own agenda, will there be a split in the characters, with some of the characters having a shared agenda with Lewis Carroll, and with some of the characters having an opposed agenda with Lewis Carroll? So will there be harmony or conflict? And if there's conflict, what will be the nature of it in this story? So without looking too closely at the clues in chapter 2, one of which is that the author Lewis Carroll is not present, do you think that John should accept the assignment, agree to the request? The request is this: to listen to the stories that the Alice characters would like to be their new stories, and to approach Lewis Carroll with these stories as a proposal for a 3rd Alice book. Is John going to have an easy time of it, or is he going to wish he had never agreed to this, if he does agree? So here is my book, John and Lewis Carroll, Wonderful, and it's found on Amazon, where there's more information. It's found at my author's website, which is roxmillspress.com. There's more information there. On my website, there's 2 free books if you just click on the cover icons. The planning notebook, in which I planned and wrote this novel and recorded all my thoughts, and reflective journal, in which I recorded thoughts as I was polishing this novel. And lastly, I'll say thank you for watching this video.